Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today we've got some things to go over from the Star Trek Resurgence Twitter feed. So, on screen. Yes, captains, it has been a while since we did an update for Star Trek Resurgence. Some of that had to do due to us being sick there last month, and we had the opportunity to go over some of the things that they've tweeted over the last couple months, and that's what we're going to do. So, the last time we made a video on this was October 14, so a while back, and that was going over these pictures we saw here, which I thought was pretty cool, and we're going to get into a little bit of this, and this is going to tie into one of the things that we majorly cover here on the YouTube bridge, but we'll get to that in a bit. Having said that, I'm still excited for this game. The unfortunate news that it's going to be pushed back to this year in April, well, that we're almost closer to that. And I think what they've been doing is trying to push the comics that we also touched upon briefly there in one of the previous videos as well, to kind of cover that gap. So we'll go over that right now. Of course, as we go along, we'll drop our 2 cents, and then at the end give our conclusions, and we'll actually go to the Star Trek Online bridge there quickly and show off something that we're hoping to come there, and maybe possible crossover from Resurgence and Star Trek Online. But here we go. So some of the things that we missed here is just more coverage on the prequel to the comics that will be for Star Trek Resurgence. Now, there's a lot of pictures here, things here that, of course, we know that Dr. Brahm is going to be there. But I kind of wanted to focus on the ship. So there's apparently five comics that will be coming, and again, we'll go over some of these things here. Actually, not that one there, but this picture right here, because I thought it was really kind of interesting. We have this ship that looks very familiar from the TNG era, and again, this whole game, this whole field that they're going for definitely feels like TNG, and that's why I'm kind of gravitating towards it. Again, more cover shots there, and you can see there the Resolute. And now this is the one picture I wanted to kind of focus on. So, and the reason being is, again, this is the Centaur, which we've seen countless times throughout the years in Star Trek on screen. And of course, this is pre the Resolute we see that we're going to see in the game. So all it is actually is a modified deflector from all that I can tell, because when you look at from the top here, it's on the shots, it's just the Centaur. And I thought it had a little bit more modifications on it, but really the only modification it has is a deflector. Now we're going to quickly go here to the Star Trek Online bridge here, and we're going to show exactly what the Centaur model looks like here in Star Trek Online. So again, it looks pretty much like what we did in the comic, with the exception of that deflector there. So why I wanted to go here in Star Trek Online was I'm hoping that with the release of Star Trek Resurgence and with all these sort of Star Trek kind of mixing with each other, when I say that, captains, if you're not aware, some of the ships from Star Trek Online has made it to Star Trek Picard in Season 2. 4 ships that have been actually featured. So I'm kind of hoping that there's a cross sort of team, again, with Star Trek Online and Star Trek Resurgence to give us the Resolute here in Star Trek Online, because I really do like the deflector, and all they have to do, we'll go back out here, all they have to do is give us the deflector. And I'll bring up the video that we looked at last time, because that's essentially the same. You can still see those little, I'm not sure what you'd like to call them, like fixtures are there right behind the deflector here, which is right there. So it looks like all they did was slap on a new deflector on a Centaur. Again, for some reason, I thought it was going to be a little different, but now with seeing it here, all it is that, and I would just love to have that option, even if to support the Star Trek IP and all, and overall, to have Star Trek Online make this a C-store ship or a ship that we can purchase in game somehow, and hopefully C-store wise and not promo. But that's for my Captain Star Trek Online, because I know some of our captains in Star Trek Online are actually even looking forward to this as much as I am, because this just kind of, we all got the TNG vibes, and we're all, like I said, we're all gravitating towards it. But I thought, again, is a really cool pick here, and something that we hope to get in Star Trek Online. Kind of interesting here. What we're going to be seeing here is another theme that we've seen in Star Trek, the original series, is a hand that's going to be grabbing a ship, but this time it's in an ice block. So this is, again, is a telling of missions leading up to the events in Star Trek Resurgence. So kind of going over here on the panels, of course, you see Captain Solano there. Yeah, we're not going to go over this because, again, I'm more interested in the game other than the comics, but I still think it was very interesting. Now, having said that, with the lack of sort of updates to Star Trek Resurgence, there hasn't been really any, I don't want to say reason for us to cover it, but that's what I'm looking for. But this kind of is something we want to kind of touch base on. Again, kind of a cool picture of the Resolute in an ice block there being grabbed by hand. At least it's not green. Next shot here, of course, just more info of the comics. There's a cool little shot there. We'll probably get to see that even more. Of course, we see Geordi here, and of course, Dr. Brahm here going over the warp core things here. Again, this was on the USS Enterprise D, so it's kind of a flashback. Again, I appreciate this. It ties it into, of course, TNG back in 2367, so thought that was really cool. Then, of course, now we're in 2380, and again, that's the Tellarian territory that looks like we're going to be in. And you see those ships there. Now it's going to be going up against, obviously, the Resolute, but of course, this is pre-deflector refit. So kind of some interesting stuff there. And of course, this one released January 11th. Apparently, it says here 1 week from today. Of course, it's already out. The action continues in Star Trek Resurgence 3. The crew of the USS Resolute find their mission turned upside down while caught deep within enemy territory. So again, catch the 5-issue prequel miniseries. So that's where I'm getting the 5 from, which is directly from Star Trek Resurgence. And there's still some more pictures here to go over. Looks like a Starfleet officer that got caught there and has a bunch of guns. This is giving me like X-Men Marvel vibes here for some reason. And of course, Star Trek Resurgence there. I think that's Captain Solano there. Looks like that's a Klingon, possibly? No, that's not the Klingon. It's probably the Tellarian right there. Then another shot here of the Resolute. And again, really nothing too different. It is a Centaur. All they did is change up the deflector on it. And of course, unfortunately, as we know, there's no new update to this other than it's still being pushed to April 2023, which is a couple months from now, 2-3 months from now, and hopefully we get more details of the game itself and how they're progressing. I don't know what more I would like to see other than a firm date, and of course maybe a couple more features, because it looks like it's just like a story that you're going over and that you can go over multiple times and picking different scenarios and how that goes. I'm hoping still that we get some starship combat. I don't think we will from the looks of it, other than sort of decisions that you have to make on the bridge while there's a fight happening, perhaps. Now, and that's why I kind of bring up Star Trek Online, because it would be great to have the Resolute there, in my opinion, or at least just that deflector. Just that deflector alone, I would be happy, and then I can have my own little adventure there in Star Trek Online and continuing on with the USS Resolute there. But hopefully we get more news on the Resurgence sort of progress, and hopefully that we get more information on the gameplay and more, or what they can sort of let us know what happened, what maybe push it through. But again, this is something I'm super excited for, and once we get this, we're definitely going to be doing a playthrough of it, and of course logging it here onto the YouTube bridge. We might even do it here on the YouTube bridge streaming wise, but regardless, hopefully some more information comes out. I keep saying that because I really want more information on this. you know, any new Star Trek that we get to experience, I'm all for, especially in the TNG era, because we are a TNG baby. We got into Star Trek in around when TNG was being aired. So that is it for this video. Captains, like the video, comment below, let us know what you're excited for, and of course subscribe here to the YouTube Bridge, and know that any more information that comes out, we'll see if we can make a video update on it, but we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.